Welcome to Entreprogrammers Podcast, the podcast for developreneurs, with your hosts, Josh Earl, Derick Bailey, and John Sonmez, the podcast where you get to be a fly on the wall listening to real conversations of three developers trying to tackle the challenges they face as entrepreneurs.
Hey, John Sonmez here, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank the sponsor for our podcast, Signal Leaf. Without Signal Leaf, we wouldn't have a place to host our podcast, and as you know, Signal Leaf is actually from one of our own here at Entreprogrammers. It is the creation of Derick Bailey. So Derick is actually the owner and creator of Signal Leaf, and it's a podcast hosting service. So if you are interested in creating your own podcast, go on over to signalleaf.com and sign up for an account today and check out how easy it is to get started. The thing I really like about Signal Leaf is just how easy it makes it for hosting your podcast. Of course, I have my own podcast, Get Up and Code, that I host at Signal Leaf, and I've been very happy with it. We're hosting Entreprogrammers there as well. And so thank you again, Signal Leaf, for sponsoring this show. And don't forget to check out Signal Leaf at signalleaf.com if you're interested in starting your own podcast. So this is the first episode of the first aired episode of the Entreprogrammers podcast, the podcast for developreneurs. And what this
I love that name
means is basically developers. This is basically you're looking at our private mastermind group, which is just the three of us that talk about our entrepreneurial type of things that we're doing every week, get together and kind of help each other out, and just it comes from Napoleon Hill's book Think and Grow Rich, the idea of having a mastermind group where you have peers that have different expertise in different areas, and you're able to get their support, run ideas by them that one mind or multiple minds are bigger than one, something like that.
Yeah, let me tell you guys, this has been an absolute blessing for me personally. There is no way I would be able to do the things that I'm doing today without this group. Having this kind of group around, having John and Josh to bounce ideas off of, and let them, tell me that I'm doing stupid stuff in a nice, comfortable, private area where it's just us. It's extraordinarily helpful, and I can't say enough about the benefits of having a group like this. It's really awesome.
And we got you fired.
Right.
Yeah.
Not quite, but close enough.
We did get Derick to quit his job, basically. So.
Yep.
And that's the one thing that my headphones are batteries dying here. Let me, but I'll say it before I plug them in. But the thing here is, like, this podcast is not for you listening; it's for us.
Right.
You're kind of like getting the opportunity to be sort of a fly on the wall. We're producing this not for the production quality, but because we're going to you're just going to see honestly what we talk about because we found this so valuable. I mean, I found it extremely valuable, and a lot of people have asked to have this opportunity. So that's what it basically is. It's not like a normal podcast.
Yeah, so it's not like we're going to be telling you how to run a mastermind group at this point. We are quite literally just going to be talking and doing our thing, and you'll be able to listen in and figure out what we're doing and why and how and all that good stuff.
All right, I'm tethered now. This is great. Let me move this monitor. All right, I got a little bit of slack here. All right, so
introductions. We should probably tell everybody who we are.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I guess we can go meta for a little bit longer.
A little bit. Go for it.
Okay, I guess I'll start then. All right. So I'm John Sonmez. I am the founder of simpleprogrammer.com. I basically have done a lot of different things in the development community, and recently in the last couple of years I've really started to try to do entrepreneurial type of things. I've gotten out on my own. I've basically quit my job, and now I'm doing my own stuff full time, which is just all kinds of entrepreneurial type of stuff. I'm kind of bankrolled by my real estate investments and and the Pluralsight videos that I did in the past, that's what's kind of sustaining me at this point until I'm able to build enough products to be able to make enough of a profit. So I'm kind of semi-retired, but I really want to build up my own type of products and stuff. Even with the Pluralsight stuff that I've done in the past, it's something that is not totally 100% mine because I'm using that Pluralsight system. So even though it's been real beneficial to me, and I could keep doing so much of that, I really want to find my own thing and build my own thing up, and so that's why I joined the group.
All right, so I'm Derick Bailey. I think I'm most well known for my Marionette JS framework, which sits on top of Backbone at this point. I also blog at lostechies.com, so you might have recognized my name from there if you're a software developer doing anything with Backbone and JavaScript. So I'm in this group for largely the same reasons as John. I want to build my own thing. I want to have products and services that are my creation, are my branding, are my name, and are me getting out there and building things. So I've got a history of independent work as a consultant. A couple of years ago, I was a consultant full-time, and I made really good money at that. I actually spent the last year, though, working for Derick as a developer advocate for Kendo UI. And while I was there, I started working on my one of my current projects called Signal-Leaf. It's a podcast audio hosting platform. And with the combination of Signal-Leaf, with my ebook sales, with my screencast sales as well, I was able to take all of those things and get back to a little bit of consulting. I'm doing about half-time consulting right now, which is where the majority of my income is coming from, and then take the other half of my time and move that toward building up my products and services and building all of these things that I enjoy doing and want to see turn into legitimate businesses and profitable businesses. So that's about it for me.
Yeah, now I'll wrap things up here. I'm Josh Earl, and I'm I'm the token full-time employee here in the group. I work for a company called Trackabout, and I'm a software developer there. I'm currently mostly doing iOS development with the Xamarin framework, which has been a lot of fun. And then I've always had a very strong entrepreneurial streak. I have a long history of small businesses that I've dabbled with. Like one of the more interesting ones is forging and handmade straight razors. So maybe I'll talk about that more sometime.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, if you go to clearbrookforge.com, actually, I have a bunch of my razors, pictures of razors, and my shop up there. I've got a forge,
Nice.
I've got a belt grinder. I haven't done much with that since I started getting into software development because I just haven't had time. I've had kids lately too. I have 2 little boys, so I don't have a lot of time to spend out in the garage. But my products right now, I've got a book called Sublime Productivity about the Sublime text editor. I've been promoting that for a little over a year, and then I have another book that I'm going to be launching here in a couple of weeks. This is end of February 2014, and I'll be launching it in early March. And that one's called Writing Sublime Plugins, and so I'm looking forward to that. And I've also got a few little affiliate sites, Amazon affiliate sites that I run. One of them is deskhacks.com, and make some side income from that. So that's me.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess that's it. So we're not going to be talking meta very often,
Right.
like I said, but just wanted to give some introduction so you know what we're about, and yeah, I guess let's get into it. So how'd your guys' week go?
Really well for me. I had my screencast launch, my JavaScript Zombies screencast launch this week. I think, let me pull up my numbers real quick. On launch day, which was Monday, I sold, come on, report, $643 worth of screencasts. And of course, I sell more than just the one screencast that launches. People buy, 2 or 3 at a time quite often.
Yeah.
For the rest of the week, I sold 165 on Tuesday, 93 on Wednesday, 72 on Thursday, and so far today, I did the sale ending email blast to my mailing list this morning, and I've sold 227 so far this morning. But on top of that, I got an email from someone this morning who is interested in buying all of my screencasts in one fell swoop.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that'll be pretty nice. So it's like $115, $114 for the whole package without any discounts. But I told him I would give him the whole deal for $90. Give him that's just over 20% discount right there. And he's got a team of developers at his office, and he has his boss has agreed to buy this on their training budget, which is kind of awesome. So I've got in contact with his boss as well to see if this is something that they would want to purchase for their entire team. So there's some potential here for a couple $100 more depending on the size of their team.
Yeah.
If it's like 5 or 6 people, that'd be pretty awesome.
Do you have a multi-user option, like a multi-user license, or?
I don't. That's something a lot of people have asked about, but I use dpd.com for my shopping cart, and they allow you to purchase multiple individual episodes, but they don't have anything like a multi-user license setup deal or anything like that. So what I do, I mean, this isn't the first time I've had somebody ask about this though. So I typically just email them and work out a deal where they'll PayPal me some money or credit card me some money through whatever system. And I'll send them a discount code to download everything off of the site, and then they can just give it to however many people they bought licenses for.
This is a good also for kind of proof of concept for your subscription-based service, because this sounds like this is a perfect customer for that. Like if you said, hey, I'm selling, for $15 or $20 a month or whatever it is, you can have access to everything that I produce instead of paying, one lump. I'm sure that this kind of it seems like the perfect customer right there for that. So
yeah, it does, and that brings me back to your suggestions on getting WordPress up and running. If you have something to suggest along those lines, I would love to see what you have running or what plugins you would suggest to make that happen. Because I looked around a little bit and I didn't know what was good, what was bad. I'm not a WordPress expert. I don't know what's really out there and what I should look at.
Well, let's after this call, if you want, because we're going to do our interview anyway for my project, we can take a look at my 10 Steps to Learn Anything Quickly course that I put up, and I'll show you. I mean, it's basically just a WordPress site running on DigitalOcean. It just has a plugin for a membership plugin, and then there's this EC3 Maestro plugin, which basically just makes it so you can easily hit EC3, and then I just have the videos up on there. So it's a pretty simple setup.
Okay.
I think it took me like a day to get it set up. So
nice. Yeah, that'd be awesome. If I could get something up and running quickly and have a couple of customers trying it out for me, that'd be pretty slick.
Yeah, I think you could do well with the monthly, and I mean, if you've got the monthly recurring type of revenue, I mean, obviously you'll have to pump out. I mean, you've got enough of a back catalog of library videos, but you'll have to put out like 1 or 2 videos a month at least, I think, probably to keep people going.
Yeah, most of the people that are doing monthly subscriptions, they do a weekly podcast or weekly screencast, and I don't think I can do weekly. I'm doing monthly right now, so it'd be interesting to see if people would be willing to pay a monthly fee for 1 video a month.
Isn't that what TechPub was doing more or less? Like they had higher quality videos, and they were doing fewer of them, right? Right,
and I don't even know if they were releasing once a month. They were releasing once whenever they had one finished.
Yeah.
So.
One thing too about membership sites is I've heard that they have an average. This probably varies a lot, but I've heard they have an average of about 3 months. Like that's kind of your average subscription length.
Right.
So that if you're $12 a month or something, that's better than 1 screencast, but it's not as good as selling all of them in a package at $90.
That's true.
So I'll you beta test and see.
Right. If I can get something set up quickly on WordPress, like John is suggesting, that would be roll it out to a handful of customers and see how well it works.
Yeah,
like
there might be other value adds that you
private
add
beta.
besides the screencast too. I mean, that make it worth staying on for that monthly. I don't know. Have to see.
Yeah.
It's all an experiment
Right.
until you do it, right? Then you don't know.
So that was pretty much my week. I mean, I did my usual consulting with the healthcare company down here. That's actually turning into a really cool project. I know it's completely unrelated to entrepreneur stuff at the moment, but there's going to be some crossover there eventually. So I'm helping them replace their job scheduling system on their old mainframe. They're getting rid of the mainframe because it's literally costing them millions of dollars a year in maintenance and support.
Yeah.
And so they're upgrading to a more modern system. They're getting rid of the mainframe, but the mainframe has their existing job scheduler and job execution service that runs nightly. And part of getting rid of the mainframe involves replacing that scheduler. So I'm helping them build a new scheduling system. It's going to be, the core of it is in Node.js with RabbitMQ to communicate between all the different pieces. And we have it architected out into about 6 different pieces, including the ability to write job execution agents in almost any language that we want, anything that has a RabbitMQ library available, which is nearly every language out there these days. So with that architecture in place, we'll be able to have a pretty slick setup for running jobs across as many machines as we need. And the really cool thing there, and why it's relevant here, is because the way that the contract is set up, I'm subcontracting through some friends of mine, and the primary contract that they have basically gives them all of the IP rights and ownership of the code that they write.
Oh, that's nice.
So they actually own everything that they've written for this healthcare network. The healthcare network is granted unlimited royalty-free licensing of everything that they build, but they are free to take these products and services and resell them elsewhere. So my friend that I'm working with, he and I are talking about what we need to do to make this job scheduler a marketable product.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that could be some additional income for me in the next year, probably next year sometime once we have this thing really up and running and stabilized.
I can imagine those IBM guys, they never probably imagined their mainframes would be replaced by JavaScript.
Yeah, seriously.
That's like anything but replaces
what?
with JavaScript.
You're replacing my wonderful COBOL and assembly language and C++ with JavaScript?
That's funny.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's going to be pretty awesome. So that was my week. What about you guys?
You can go, Josh.
All right. Yeah. Man, this has been a very uneven week for me. It's been kind of all over the place. I've been playing with the Twitter advertising, and so I cannot figure out why, but my ads aren't running.
Really?
So but you're excluding to desktop, right?
Yes,
I'm doing the same thing though, and I'm getting like 20,000 impressions a day.
Yeah, they ran for one day. I set it up to run them as soon as possible every day. So like early in the morning.
Yeah.
I set up a 1-week campaign with $10 a day budget, and I gave it. I'm following, or I'm targeting users that follow specific people. Sublime text account, David Hannemeyer Hansen, the Node.js account, Paul Irish, like a few people like that who are kind of web developer types. And the one day when it ran, it did great. I mean, I'm getting like a 2.5% engagement rate almost.
Wow.
And I'm only paying like 15 cents a click because my engagement rate is so high.
I told you desktop.
Yeah. Yes, that was awesome. That was an awesome tip. Yeah, that was so. And I'm also getting like 25% conversion, which is what I was expecting, right? When I set that up, I was thinking a quarter of the people that clicked on an ad that says "sign up for my newsletter" would actually sign up for the newsletter. Right. There's no bait and switch or anything. It's very clear what you're doing. But so now I'm getting like a 25% sign up rate. So I'm getting, the days when my ads are running, I'm getting anywhere from 10 to 15 new email subscriptions.
For $1.50.
Well, no, I'm paying a lot less than that each. I mean, like,
No, I mean total.
for $1.50, yeah.
That's the deal. I'll make that trade all day long.
Seriously.
15 email subscribers.
I know. So I think I've spent like a total of like $20 this week. But for some reason just dropped my wedding ring. That's not good. So for some reason my ads aren't running like right now or yesterday. The day that they ran, I sold 6 books, which is cool because I'm not even promoting the book like directly. Like when you sign up for my list, you get an email that asks you to write to me actually. I ask a couple questions, and then I send a PDF of like a sample chapter of my book, and that apparently is selling the book when the ads run. Right. But for some reason the ads, I can't figure out why the ads aren't running right now. But I'll have to dig into that a little bit more.
That's weird. I'm looking at mine right now, and I have 2 campaigns active. One of them for my Backbone plugins book. I'm getting, let's see, I got 13,000 impressions yesterday, 8,000 the day before, 7 the day, 10 the day. So I'm getting quite a few on that.
What's your bid?
$1.85.
Okay, because I've got mine set really low. It's set at 75 cents.
That's probably why you're not getting any impressions.
Increase it. I mean, you're not going to pay that much, right? But
the way that it works.
So that's like a in the door fee, I guess, and you have to bid, and then they'll actually discount it from.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try that.
So even though I have a $1.85 bid as the max for my Backbone plugins, my estimated cost per engagement is less than 10 cents on all of my ads.
Oh, okay. That's great. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's good. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right. I will bump that up. That's probably the issue then.
I think
I need to improve my Watch Me Code ads, though, because I only got 404. Yesterday I got 2,700. I probably need to increase my bid on that one because it's not getting very many.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of worried about. I didn't want to burn through my meager budget too quickly.
Yeah, it's the maximum bid. It's not the minimum that you'll pay. That's the maximum that you'll pay. I've had a few where I've paid almost $1 for a click or a retweet or whatever it was.
Okay.
But that almost always averages out. It'll start out super high, and then that cost per engagement will end up being low over time.
Okay. That makes sense.
Well, if someone retweets it, right, then that's kind of like a free roll.
Right.
Because you paid $1 for someone to to get it, for them to engage. They retweeted it, and then it kind of whatever goes from there is free.
Yeah.
The follows make me sad. I don't want to pay $1 for somebody to follow me on Twitter.
Right.
Because at Twitter, I mean, like my conversion rates with email. So when I did I calculated my conversion rates between my email list when I launched my Sublime plugins book, and it was, my first Sublime book, and it was like 1,100 times higher on email than on Twitter.
Wow.
Like I only sold maybe 10 books total via Twitter. And and that was with thousands of followers. So it does not convert very well. So the Twitter thing's been interesting. I'm planning to keep that up. I think, gosh, if I could just spend $10 a day and get 10 to 15 new email subscriptions, that would come, $300 a month. I would totally do that. I'll at least double that money.
Right.
In book sales. So I'm gonna go forward with that. But man, the book, getting my book out the door has been kind of kicking my butt. It's the resistance, I've just been hitting major resistance this week, where I just don't. It's part of it is that I don't know necessarily. I have so many little tasks that there's not a clear this is what I need to do today. When I was writing the book, it was write the book, or edit the book.
Yeah. Exactly.
And now it's I've got all these I've got 24 little tiny tasks that I need to do, none of which I really want to do, many of which involve contacting people that I don't know, asking them for favors, and it's very uncomfortable. So like yesterday I basically accomplished nothing. Today I took care of all the stuff that I was putting off yesterday. So
I'm having exactly that same kind of day. I've checked my ads and my sales, and I wrote a few
Checking
emails.
analytics is productive. That's
right.
Productive. You're working on your business.
Yeah, that's it.
You got to keep your fingers on the pulse.
So I've had like no productivity today. I'm trying to dig into Signal Leaf, which I actually wanted to ask you guys about that, but let John go and report on his week first.
Yeah, go for it, John.
Let's see. Actually, I had a really crappy week also. I just came back from Miami, which I didn't really like Miami that much. But
This is a confidence-inspiring first podcast.
It is.
Well, I had the same exact thing that you're describing, so it actually does make me feel a little bit better, Josh, because I finally finished this package. I mean, this is like a huge amount of stuff, like 8 hours of video and 4 books that I wrote. And when I was doing all that stuff, it was hard, but I thought, okay, now I'm going to get to the easy and the fun stuff. And now I've got to create a sales page, a landing page, and I'm just paralyzed with fear about that one. I don't know how I know it's not so critical, but I feel like it's so critical that I get this perfect.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be good enough. And I've with my backboneplugins.com site and the redesign that I got done on there, I have a new idea of what good enough is.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's just all these little tasks and stuff that I'm trying to get done now that are.
Have you seen Cascade.io?
Cascade.io. I don't think so.
Just hit that's the URL, Cascade.io. So I'm on his mailing list.
Oh, that's a nice.
Jared Drysdale, I think. And
Jared, yeah, he's the guy that inspired me to write my book, actually.
Yeah,
his
he's
post.
It looks like a really cool tool to build the kind of pages that we typically need for landing pages, for sales pages, things like that. And he's got a couple of testimonials in there from people that I recognize, like Chris Strom from his Patterns in Polymer book. So I've been considering buying this Cascade.io. He's got it on sale right now. It might be something that you want to look at, John, in order to get past the landing page and sales page design for your product suite.
Yeah, okay. That definitely looks cool. That looks like that looks like the next step. I guess what I kind of convinced myself yesterday, I was talking to Josh a little bit too, is I need to write up the copy first.
Yeah.
Because formatting it and layout and stuff, that's
right.
kind of giving me a stomach ulcer, but that's the copy is more important. So I need to write that copy. And actually here's what I did. You remember that blog post I did on our contest why you're stuck in your job?
Yeah.
I just took that and I said, well, that was converting extremely well. I mean, I sold 7 on that day on pre-order with no, just cold selling. So I felt like that was engaging a lot of people. So I'm going to take that and basically start with that at my sales page and then get into some more details in the package and stuff so that I feel like where I had it before, you read the blog post, then you had to click on to something that took you to a landing page and then you made the sale. But if I have it if that is my landing page, I think that will I mean that's something that I've already know was tested. It got uploaded on Hacker News, so it seems like it's less of a risk than anything else. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Right.
No, that sounds like a great idea. That at least for a place to start.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've already got some nice. You're already doing a lot of the stuff there that a good sales page does. You're telling a story and you're teaching.
Yeah.
And really, if you look at the Patrick McKenzie's lifecycle email example that I sent over yesterday, that's what he's doing in that.
Yeah.
It's basically educating you about about why his product is necessary.
Right.
So I basically had a week this week where I was like, I don't know, just when I came back from Miami, I just felt like I don't want to do any work. I don't want to blog anymore or do YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy anything. I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to buy anything that's sold. I don't want to produce.
Yeah.
I was basically like, I just want to go offline permanently. I'm just going to go. But
take a break.
I know. I'm feeling better now. I don't have the time really to take a break. Well, I mean, I've got weekly commitments that are like the podcast, YouTube video, blog posts. I mean, I could queue those up in advance. That's how I take breaks. But
Right.
but then I've got to get this thing launched. I'm nervous about getting all this stuff done, and then as soon as I'm done launching this, I have commitments with Manning to publish for my book, so I have to get that out the door. Now, I did book this. You guys are going to be a little bit jealous, but I did book 2 months in Maui for August and September. So I am planning on taking a break because I know that I need one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that's back to back then, August and September. Yeah.
Yeah. I did. Yeah.
Wow.
I found a nice place over there. Pulled the trigger yesterday.
Are you planning to like?
It must be nice to live the high life off of those royalties.
Are you planning to like space out vacations, like longer vacations throughout the year, or have you like, or do you not know what your lifestyle is going to be going forward?
I don't know. I kind of want to play it by feel. I mean, when I work hard, and I try to I feel like I want to. I mean, well, here's a key thing. Like for this year, I want to get this big product launch where I'm making money from. I mean, I've got a huge website now, with 150,000 views a month. I need to be monetizing that more than I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's like wasted potential. So that's kind of like the goal of this year has been.
I think you could do it with Amazon commissions, man.
Well, I don't know. I put them out there, and it's not enough, I think because I should really be making $5,000 to $10,000 off of the Simple Programmer website. That's what I should be doing with the audience that I have. So that's kind of the goal. It's like once I'm there, then I feel like I could take more of a breather and and just kind of cruise a little bit, and then work on projects as I have the desire to do them. But right now I'm kind of under this pressure. I feel like I need to capitalize on this. So I don't know. But yeah, that's basically was my week. I'm trying to think. I got the basic stuff done. I didn't really work until Tuesday because I got back on Monday, and then I had a bunch of catch up type of stuff to do. I'm trying to think through my list of things. There's not really any major things on my list. I'm looking at my done list here. Oh, I did get our blog post done for the $100 challenge. That took some time.
Yeah, really want to get that thing out there.
I got the artwork done for my packager. I'm working on that right now. I've got some questions for you guys about that. I got the recording, the Hangout stuff. I rendered my videos and stuff. So my whole package is almost ready to ship. I'm going to actually ship it to you guys to review it or just to take a look pretty soon. But yeah, that was it. I didn't accomplish as much. There's a lot. Every week of mine has blog posts, YouTube video, podcast, and so it kind of does there's a block in there that's kind of I have to get past that before I can get any more productive stuff done. Right. So
I'm actually trying to set a good schedule for myself the same way that you do. So Monday, actually, I spent all of Monday writing. I wrote 3 emails to send out and 2 blog posts on Monday. And by the way, my first personal email that I sent out, what will they say about you when you're gone? The totals on that, I had 54.3% open.
Nice, that's awesome.
That is really good.
And I had an unsubscribe of 15 people off of that email.
That's fine.
It's about 1% or a little over 1%.
Yeah, but that's your first email of that type.
Right.
You're going to get some people that are going to be like, "Oh, I don't want this."
Yeah.
And that's fine, but next week you won't have as many. You'll still have unsubscribes, but you won't have as many.
Yeah, and I ended up getting 5 or 6 people responding to me, emailing me back and saying, thank you for writing this and things along those lines. So that was pretty awesome because I've never had anybody respond to an email like that before.
John, I have an idea now. If we want to send Derick into a spiral right before our next contest or something, just have a bunch of sock puppet email addresses and then unsubscribe from his best. He sends out his best email ever. This sucks.
No.
I'm flooded with emails now. I don't know if you saw the one I sent out, Derek. It probably just arrived in your inbox like a few
It
minutes
came
ago.
into my inbox a couple minutes ago, like it always does. You guys talk about John's email, and I'm like, what?
But this week was my week to do, because I put that schedule on there, was to like request something from the audience, like engage them to ask a question or get feedback. And so I've got a bunch of blog post ideas now.
Nice.
Forever.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, asking stuff like that is dangerous. I sent out those emails. So for my book, my plugins book, I had this idea that I was going to, which I think I heard on Pat Flynn's Smart Passive Income podcast, but I had a Fiverr person collect a bunch of email addresses for me off of the Sublime plugins site.
Mm-hmm.
She put together a spreadsheet of 300 different people, and I was going to email all of them and ask them if they would help me out promoting the book, and I'd help them promote their plugin.
Right.
And so I did a sample. I did 20, and I got a 50% response rate. Nice. I was thinking I'd get maybe 2 or 3 replies. So I've just been corresponding with those people and having a hard enough time keeping up with that. Like, I'm glad I didn't send out all of them.
Did you at least prioritize though? Get the top ranked plugins?
I think that the author no, I didn't. The list was sorted by number of plugins that they'd written though, so I think I got some decent, a decent number of higher.
The top ones.
But I should have definitely gone with sort of the top ranked plugins. But
I mean, you can take them by chunk.
Yeah, I was wanting people who weren't like, the best of the best. I wanted people who would be more relatable to the beginners that my book is targeting too. So, but that's been hanging over my head. Like I've felt really guilty not responding to those emails quickly enough.
Well, I'm gonna respond to all of these emails by just having a generic thank you for the thing, because this is there's just too many. It's not going to be worth. I've got the feedback that I wanted, and part of this, I think, this is my theory, but I think by having people engage you, by asking them a question, when they hit that reply to, then they have just their attention level to what you're doing just jumped, because they're like, I emailed that guy once. Right. And he replied back to me. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll have to see how my engagement levels, if they increase after this, and I can track those particular users. Yeah. But I have a feeling that by doing this feedback, now they've invested more in the relationship, because they've actually sent me an email. Before they had just subscribed to the list and maybe they're opening my emails, but now they actually sent me an email. So hopefully that now they're in a more committed phase. I don't know. We'll see.
That makes sense. I've been trying to, for my blog post emails that I send out, I've been trying to train people to click links.
Yeah.
Right.
So what I do, my strategy, because I'd love to do the personal emails that you guys do every week are really good. I don't have time for those right now. So what I've been doing is just sending out kind of the intro to my blog post, and then posting like a click here type of link, very strong call to action. But I get maybe a 15. When I do that, I get maybe a 15% click rate, which is pretty decent if you only have one link. But so I've been doing that, especially leading up to my book launch. I've been sending out emails trying to get people accustomed to clicking through and finding something worth clicking for on the other end.
Oh, by the way, just on the quick note on the click thing, I tried to put some kind of engagement. The week before last week, I put an engagement to follow me on Twitter with that shot in the heart one. I got only a 2% I think click rate on that. So I think follow me on Twitter is probably just not a good, either people are following you or they don't care at all. So
I mean,
well, and you've already got them on your list too. So I mean, that's way more valuable.
Yeah. People are going to be more engaged on your mailing list than they are on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, I was just trying to.
Not everybody uses Twitter either, and it could also be the case of why am I following you on Twitter if I'm already on your mailing list?
That's true, because you need to be on all my channels.
Yeah.
Follow me.
Subscribe to YouTube. Subscribe to Twitter. Subscribe to. You know what? Why don't you just come over to my house and sit in my living room?
Yeah, here we go. There's livejohn.tv. You can watch me all day. I will produce content for you.
$10 a person per hour. Sit in my house.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm just about at the 3K mark on the mailing list. We'll see.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, Derick, are you paying for MailChimp yet?
Yeah, I have been for a
Okay.
while.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm up to, where's my list? I'm up to, oh dang, actually dropped. I was at 1380 for that last email that I sent out, but I'm down to 1373.
It'll bounce
My
back.
my subscribe rate is pathetic. I think I get
Yeah.
like an average of 2 a day.
You mentioned on the email list that you were that you changed the call to action to promote your videos. Is that like on all
On
your posts
several
or?
of the blog posts, on some of the more
Okay.
popular Backbone posts. And, like I had one on memory management in Backbone, so I put the JavaScript zombies on that one, and I had one on.
Was that
Um,
a dual call to action, or was it just buy my video? Was it like buy my video or subscribe to my newsletter? Or was it?
no, so the subscribe to my newsletter is at the bottom of every post. It's part
Okay.
of the layout. And
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
individual posts, I went back in and I did a want to know more, check out this screencast that blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
I think from what I've seen, embedding the call to action for the newsletter, like in the end of the post, is way more effective than just having a
Right,
plugin, having the form embedded there at the bottom of
right.
your
I
post.
I pretty much do that at every post now. I just
Yeah.
put, hey, by the way, blah blah blah, or I try to relate it to the post. If I relate to the post, I get more clicks. If it just
You could say, did you dismiss my pop-up?
That's true. I want to get
Yeah,
away from
that makes
that.
sense though, because you're gonna potentially get RSS subscribers that way as well. Because right now,
Right.
if
Yeah,
you're an RSS subscriber on my blog, you're not gonna see my join my mailing list.
Right.
that's true.
Yeah.
So Josh, Amazon numbers. This is the last
Yes.
one of the
Yeah, I
month.
wanted to hear. So I'm up to 579, which I
Oh,
have
I
a good.
Jeez, dude.
I got you this month.
Yeah.
I'm at 582.
Wow.
Oh, okay. No,
$3.
No, there's one more day because the,
Oh.
Oh
the
yeah,
report
there's
lags
tomorrow.
by one day. Oh
But
man,
let me.
that's great. I'm gonna
But I'm
send an
sitting.
email to my mailing list.
I may have
I'm-
hit a record month for myself. Guess what it is?
Is it double digits? Did you make two
It
digits?
is. I made
It
it. I
is.
made it to double digits this time.
Awesome.
Actually, I got up to $28. That's
Nice. John, so
ridiculous.
I guess your life hacker thing was a spike and not a long term. You'll probably still get a nice. I imagine you'll still get a nice long tail off of that.
Yeah, I'm still getting some traffic from that, so it's good. I mean, that product will have a life cycle to itself, but
Right.
but yeah, I ended up shipping 259 items this month, but
Nice.
my
Wow.
my orders is at 268, so that means tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 5 orders pending, I think, as of this morning. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, mine I have like 160 some orders. So mine are definitely big ticket items. I'm not selling a lot of ebooks on my
Well,
site.
and it's just amazing. I still can't believe, okay, what is your conversion rate?
Currently, it dropped a little bit toward the end of the month. It's a little bit under 11% right now. It's like
Yeah.
10.8 or something.
See, mine's 3%.
Yeah, mine's 5.5. I need to
Yeah.
get more blog posts with product reviews and stuff. So I just finished reading a trilogy of sci-fi novels that were just utterly amazing. Like the first one was good. You really wanted to finish reading it. The second one, I couldn't put it down, and by the time I was done with the third one, I read the third one in like a week, which is a super duper fast pace for me. It usually takes me a month to read a book. So I'm gonna write up a post reviewing these books, which would be cool because the guy that wrote them is an independent author. He doesn't have a marketing department or anything like
Oh,
that.
nice.
So it'd
Nice.
be
That's
nice
cool.
to promote him a little bit and hopefully get him to retweet my blog post where I'm reviewing his books.
Yeah.
Get a
Cool.
little crossover there from the sci-fi
Yeah.
crowd.
So
Yeah,
we've
because
got,
I did that once a couple of months ago. As an experiment, I wrote a post with 4 book reviews, and it did really well in terms of traffic to the post, but also in terms of conversions to Amazon sales. I sold a lot of ebooks for the next month.
yeah.
Cool.
So we've got a couple of orders of business we got to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one is this $100 challenge posts. Like, have you guys had a chance to look at those?
I did. I sent some feedback to the mailing list on some
we
issues.
have edit permission, I think, so I was just going to go. There were a few little formatting things I wanted to fix, but
Okay.
Oh, sure.
I can go in and do that myself this weekend. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and fix those things. Yeah,
I felt very dirty looking into your site.
It's like, should I be looking at this?
Yeah.
What? I have edit. Jeez.
I could install pretty link and redirect everything on your site to my site.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna change
evil.
all of your Amazon Associates links to mine.
Oh man, that would be very evil. No, I will use the power responsibly.
I won't. Sorry.
Yes. So go ahead.
It was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So we need a title first of all.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
a Hacker Newsworthy title. I felt like the title might be okay as it is. I don't know. Can we do it more like 24? I mean, what do I call it? Like 24-hour $100 challenge?
It needs to be. That's not. I mean that's a good description of what it is, but it needs to be more. What's the right word? Sleazy.
Sleazy.
Okay. Well,
Formulaic. It needs to be more like, like how I earn $2,800 in a day.
I was thinking something very similar, like very straightforward, like basically how to earn $100 in one day, basically.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, that was the best thing I came up with.
There was a tweet that I saw from who's the authority guy? Nathan Barry.
Yeah.
He tweeted a blog post this morning that said his title was something like, should I be doing 2 product launches instead of 1? I've got 58,000 reasons that say yes.
Oh, I see.
So I mean some formulaic thing. I mean it's cheesy, but it works. So those are the kinds of things that get you to click. I did that with my Signal Leaf blog post this week. So at blog.signalleaf.com, the post title is 50 Reasons Why You Need to Blog Every Podcast Episode. And the 50 reasons is that you get 50% of your listens on any given podcast through your website, through your blog post. So there's those kinds of formulaic titles are going to do a lot better than the titles that we currently have.
Okay, so assignment then for today or for this week.
Trying to find those posts again.
Before I publish this out, each one of us needs to come up with 5 titles, I think.
Okay.
Right.
We'll send them all to our list, and then we'll kind of vote on the best ones, or like I think a few will probably just stand out, and then we can vote on those or something.
Right.
And then do we want to have different titles?
Yeah, of course. So I mean something like let's take advantage of what this challenge really represented for us. Like, what do you get, or find out what happens when 3 entrepreneurs are thrown into the wilderness with nothing more than a survival knife.
Yeah.
Something that's gets people's attention, says what's going on, something that is formulaic and one of those play on human emotions and desire to watch train wrecks.
Okay. How about this? We'll title it Josh Earl talks about upvoting ring. Josh Earl's upvoting Hacker News ring unveiled.
Sold. That will get us all banned from Hacker News.
I know.
As a bonus too.
That's one of the edits you might want to make this weekend in your post, because I was like, when I read it, I was like, I don't know, because if this goes on Hacker News and they're like, oh, you told people to vote on your stuff.
Oh yeah, okay, I will do that.
Wait, you actually posted that?
Well, I mentioned that I pinged you guys about it. Yeah, and I think Yeah, I should probably take that out. All right.
Yeah,
well, now it's in the podcast, so.
Well, it's all right in the podcast. Hacker News people don't have time to listen to podcasts.
They don't care about us.
They're too busy, making lots of. They're too busy sitting in their armchairs and.
Seriously, I think my Hacker News account is pretty much DOA. I've got 683 points, but when I upvote something, even if it's not mine, if I find something that I legitimately like on Hacker News and I upvote
they actually delete it.
It does not count as a vote.
I don't know.
I'll go click something. I'll upvote it, and it will not count as a vote.
I'm gonna
my account
Odesk
is
someone
dead.
to I'm gonna Odesk pay someone to figure out how to scam Hacker News.
Good luck with that.
Okay, so titles. So do we want to have the same titles for part 2 and part 3 with just part 2 and part 3 and subtitled, like, The Revenge of the Nerds, or or whatever?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
yeah, I
so
think we keep the same major title and then come up with a subtitle. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So try and get that to me, or to get out to the list as soon as possible. The names, like today, maybe if we can, or this weekend, and then I will post it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week.
Okay.
At least that's the plan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just write that down. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yep.
Okay, and then Derick, you talked about having someone like who had a really high karma or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you have any anyone in your circles that?
I don't. I mean, I've had good luck, hit and miss, I guess, but somewhat good luck with just tweeting. Here's my blog post. Somebody go drop it on Hacker News. And people tend to do it. They'll go post it for you and upvote it a couple of times.
I thought about doing that with my mailing list.
Yeah, like if you like this, Hacker News it.
Yeah, everybody. If you resubmit something that's already been submitted, it counts as an upvote.
Right.
So they don't have to find it.
Yeah, but wouldn't people do that to their mailing list already? And like, when Hacker News somehow protect against it?
How could they possibly?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you got like a flood of, how do they? I mean,
I don't know.
If you got a ton of people submitting something, it could just be popular. I mean, I'm sure anytime anything breaks out the NSA, there are like 30,000 submissions of the same link.
Okay, well, maybe I'll send out an impromptu email to my email list, and maybe we all can, and say where they just submit the original link to the post, because then if they submit the thing, then I don't know, that might be a good way to go. Then it's just to leave it out to our mailing lists to do it. We might get some unsubscribes unless we.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Well,
but no, this is really interesting though. We just have to we're just sending out to check out this cool competition I did. And I'd appreciate it. I mean, if you submit this to Hacker News, because I think this has some big potential.
That's true.
Yeah.
So do we want to wait until all 3 posts are up before we do that, or because I don't want to send 3 emails, 1 for each post. That'd be a lot of email that week.
No. Well. I guess.
I think the first day is what we really care about most, right? I think I'd want to email the first day for sure.
Because we're not expecting part 2 and part 3 to get all the way upvoted. Part 1 should go crazy, and then people will come back for part 2 and part 3.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just do that on the first day then. So Tuesday, after I post this thing, we will we'll send it out to our list. Okay.
If you could email us the permalink too, or whatever you want us to use.
Yeah, I'll email that out. Okay, that'll work. And then the other thing, just real briefly, we should probably talk about is March 6th is next week.
Oh, jeez, I know.
I know.
I haven't even coordinated this with my family yet. I've completely forgotten about this until I set a 1-2 week reminder for myself, and it popped up a couple days ago.
So here's what I suggest. Let's not waste too much time talking about it. Let's just, on March 6th at midnight or whenever we, I guess that's the one thing we have to figure out is what time we're going to all meet up.
Right.
But let's just plan the whole thing right then and just come up with, let's not really pre-plan this at all.
Okay.
Oh, man.
We'll just figure it out, so.
Okay, so we're not even going to have any ideas at all going in.
Think of your own ideas.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? All right, so here's I've been
software developers together and try to coordinate.
I've been typing out a blog post title, based on all the formulaic BS that people click on.
What happened that
3
day?
entrepreneurs build and
I
market
love
a
it.
product in one day. What happened that day will shock you.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it.
Because Scott Hanselman did a blog post a while back about exactly those kinds of titles, and
Oh.
his whole title is "What Happened Next Will Shock You," and
Yeah,
he
but
links
he's been-
back to it with that phrase all the time.
He's been doing that though lately.
I know.
His
It's
last
pretty
3
funny.
blog posts got on front page of Hacker News. His
Yep.
last 3 were shocking blog posts. Which,
Yeah. Yep, those make a huge difference.
Yeah.
I was reading this week. I was reading a book or a post by Gary Halbert, and he was talking about this experiment that this guy did back in the early 1900s, where he was like a retailer for like a mail order retailer for books. Like he was basically like a self-publisher. He'd buy the rights to these books, and then he would retitle them and sell them. And it was amazing the difference that I'll have to dig the post out. But I mean, some of them like tripled, quadrupled in sales when he simply retitled them. And most of those formulaic headlines actually come from a book that this guy wrote in the early 1900s. And we still use them all. I mean, like the how-to title, that was he was the one that developed that.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So there's my second thought for a title. One day to earn $100. Can these 3 entrepreneurs meet the challenge?
That's pretty
that
good,
one has,
actually.
yeah, that one's got
That's
some
pretty
legs,
good.
I think.
Yeah.
That's cool.
A
All right,
little
yeah,
less
so
sleazy.
we'll figure this out. We'll come up with your 5 best titles, and then
I'm going to come up with the absolute worst crap. I'm going to
We'll
purposely
think of the
make
name
them
of our
awful.
podcast.
Entreprogrammers, the podcast for developreneurs. I can't even say that.
That's not a branding nightmare waiting to happen.
I've got entreprogrammers.com. I should probably go register developreneurs too.
Oh yeah, you need to get that one.
Let me go do that real quick.
All right. So, I wanted to ask this too. I kept forgetting because we were talking about. I got to figure out now. I'm kind of on the pricing and then the modeling of my package. Like, I don't know. Like, Derick, you were saying that you're leaning more towards just having one
package for $300, man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards that as well. And Derick had a great point about the discount. Like, you don't have to sell it. You're not going to sell it for $300. It's going to be $150.
Yeah.
Or, 200 or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's one thing that I've.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm overriding you there. Go ahead.
A 50% discount is a pretty standard level for a launch, especially on an expensive product.
Right.
I'm doing a 40% discount on my book for the first couple days.
Right.
Yeah, so one thing I learned about pricing with my screencast sales is never price the screencast or the product or whatever it is at the minimum that you would be okay with in earning. So if you think that your product is worth $75, if that's the bare minimum that you would be okay with for a sale, you have a minimum price of $150 for the actual product.
Right.
Because that allows you to give discounts, huge discounts. I mean, 50% discounts. People are going to jump all over a 50% discount.
Right.
But that 50% discount still puts you at this is my bare minimum acceptable sale.
Right, that makes sense. And I can offer, I guess I'll offer that discount for my launch.
Right.
But then after that, I'll be at regular price. And then I should have testimonials at that point.
Yeah.
And that will kind of.
Speaking of testimonials, one thing that I did for my backboneplugins.com rebranding, relaunching, I actually sent an email to all of the purchasers through LeanPub. My marketing person designed a survey for me, asking questions about value and what they learned and what they liked and all that kind of stuff. So I emailed that to my entire list and got a ton of responses. I mean, it took her a couple of hours to wade through all the responses and pick out the best ones. But I've got like 20 quotes on that site now. It's insane. some of the things that people are saying about my book are just blowing me away. Like,
So wait a minute, how did
wow.
you do this exactly?
So I'm selling it through LeanPub, right? And with
Right.
LeanPub, you can send messages to all your book purchasers. I
Right,
don't
okay.
get their email address, but there's a form that I can
Yeah.
use on the site that lets me send whatever message I want to the purchasers.
Yeah.
So I created I had my marketing person create a Google Docs form for
Okay,
people to
Google
fill
Docs
out.
form. Yeah.
And I emailed everybody. I did my typical flavor of like, hey, you, yes, you, I need your help. No, not that guy, you. Just
Yeah.
the fun, interactive the engaging style of conversation.
Causes people to unsubscribe.
Exactly. But I got a ton of responses on
That's
that,
awesome.
and a lot of really good quotes out of it. And so I made sure to design the form so that you could do it anonymously if you wanted to, or provide your name and a URL to link back to if you wanted to.
Okay, and you basically asked the question of like, why do you like this book or something like that? Like,
yeah, like what were
was
you
valuable?
expecting out of this book? What did you actually find? What were the highlights? What
I
did you
see.
learn? It's a series of questions like that. How has this benefited you the most?
And then I guess you can probably just put a disclaimer right in that form that says, "Hey, if you whatever you answer here, I may use this to promote the book." When you submit this, you're saying it's okay if I like link back to your site and
So
post your
I took it a
comment.
step further. I very explicitly said your answers will remain anonymous unless you fill out this form at the very bottom that gives me permission to quote you.
Perfect. That's
So it was
smart.
a very explicit. You will be anonymous. You do not have to submit your name unless you want to. And if you want to, we might use your info as a quote on the site.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I need to do because I'm at like 51 orders now in the pre-order. Well, I mean, I'm going to send out the package to the pre-orders shortly, so I'll have it all together, and then I'm going to do that, and that'll be good. I can get some nice.
Yeah, I need to do that too. I've kind of wanted to do something like that for a long time, but I'm just been afraid to.
Yeah, I was really
it's
nervous about it.
Like I don't know. Like I feel like I definitely think my book is good, but I definitely feel like there's a ton of stuff that is not in there that I want to be in there, and stuff that people have asked me for that's not in there. So I don't know. I should do it.
You should.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so then it does probably, I don't know, does it make sense then for me to just do the one price, $300, I'll offer discount at launch and just focus on and not do the package, the multi-tiers at all?
That's the way I would go, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I've had a number of conversations with people. I was talking with a guy here in Waco recently. We were having drinks. And he was telling me about the ticket management system that he uses and how awful it is. And his whole explanation of why it was so horrible is that the ticket management system expected you, the person using it, to actually manage the entire workflow. There were dozens of options that he had to choose from and get right in order to make sure it went to the right place at the right time. And it was a giant nightmare. And he brought that down to talking about product sales and other simple to use websites and systems where the fewer choices you have, the more likely it is that you're just going to buy it. He brought up the iPhone, for example, where you have Android phones with hundreds of models and options and different pricing structures and capabilities and features, and then you have the iPhone, which charges 10 times more than an Android phone and is the thing that everybody really wants to have. And it's partially because of the limited number of choices. It's easy to know which iPhone do you want. Oh, I want an iPhone. Great. Do you want this much memory or that much memory? It's not about screen size and processor speed.
Till next year.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's that, but having that limited number of choices makes it easier for people to say, oh, this is the one I want. I'm going to go ahead and buy it. Instead of looking at, oh, man, which one do I want? Should I get this? Well, maybe I'm going to want that later. I don't know. I don't have the money now. Maybe I can come back. But, I mean, it just creates – I'm even thinking about taking some of the choices out of my Backbone plugins website just because of that.
Yeah, see, that's kind of what I was thinking, was if I can then I can focus on just my marketing and message being like how much value this whole package is, as opposed to like if I have the different price tiers, then I have to say, well, it's still pretty valuable at $75, but you won't be getting these other things, but with this I can just pour all my effort into just like this is going to be a return on your investment. Yes, $300 is a lot of money, but yes, when you go into a job interview and you get 5% more salary, or you get a 5% raise, or whatever it is, or you get a client that you're going to be able to bill $200 an hour instead of $100 an hour, you'll have made that money back easily.
Yeah. 5% raise, by the way, when transferring jobs, so you should really be advertising 50%.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's the minimum, obviously,
You can get a COLA raise, believe it or not, cost of living. 3%.
3%.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do then, is I'm just going to pour it into the one.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of my audience is from third world countries and stuff, so they're not going to pay $300.
So I get that quite a bit from I wouldn't call them third world countries. I would call them not America.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
So I get a lot of people asking me, hey, I'm in, whatever country, and I can't pay this. Would you accept, X number of dollars or whatever percentage off? I've never once said no.
I guess
anytime somebody emails me and says, I want to give you money, I say yes. I don't care. I mean, I had somebody yesterday.
This is on the air.
I had somebody yesterday email me and say, I want to buy these 5 screencasts. Can I get a discount for this much? Yeah, no problem. Because it's a sale. It's not costing me physical inventory.
Yeah.
It's not like I have a production run that has a minimum cost of X number of dollars. It's digits inside of a website, and it's another sale. And that sale yesterday got me $50.
Yeah.
The guy wanted to spend $40. I gave him a coupon that said, okay, minimum of this many screencasts, and he bought 6 of them instead of 5.
That's true, yeah, and it's a private sale, so it's not like people know.
Right.
It's not like we're on the air telling people that we pay money for a digital product, any amount. It's not like we're doing that. So.
I mean, I'll have
use
to
coupon code Entreprogrammers.
Yes, I have to be within reason. I mean,
yeah.
If somebody asks me for free, I'm just going to ignore the email. But as long as the person is being reasonable about it, I mean, if somebody wants to buy 6 screencasts from me and they ask for a 40% discount, okay.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to buy 10 and they ask for a 20% discount, okay.
I gave one copy of my book away one time because I felt so bad. This poor guy, he was emailing me from Nigeria, and
was he a prince?
He was not a prince.
Was he trying to send money to you?
No, he was actually trying to send me money. Well, wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Oh shoot, I need to go change my PayPal password. I'll be right back. No, so he tried to buy my book several times, and I think it's through LeanPub, and I think since they use PayPal, he was getting PayPal red flags Nigeria because there's a lot of scams coming out of there right now, and there was actually somebody on the LeanPub list that was complaining about the exact same thing, so I know it's not just me. But I ended up, the poor guy, he tried a credit card, he tried PayPal, he tried like 3 or 4 different things, and I finally said, look, dude, I'll just email you the book.
Yeah, I've done that a number of times too. Somebody will try to buy whatever, and they'll have a problem. I'll refund them the money and send them the product anyways. Send it through Dropbox or something.
Yeah.
That's a great way to make fans.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me. Josh, put your book on. I don't know if you saw my email on the list,
I
but
did.
put it on Gumroad. Get the email addresses, because I don't know about converting from a list to a list.
Yeah, that is a very good point. I am not sure. I don't know why that would be a problem, but it seems like it could be.
Yeah, I mean, might as well try and make the sales right there with I mean, you're gonna make money from that ad,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and you're right about that conversion rate at the low end, even I'd make a pretty nice chunk of change.
Yeah, so. And Gumroad will give you their email addresses, so that's it's just as easy as
I've wanted to do that. I just haven't. Derick, how is DPD really easy to because Gumroad, I found well, for one thing, they don't take PayPal, which for me, I always hate. I mean, a lot of people don't like PayPal, but I personally, that is a major turnoff for me if I don't have the option to
Seriously,
use PayPal.
same here. As much as I've complained about PayPal in my life, if I don't have an option for buying something with PayPal, I'm more hesitant if it's a small
Right.
company, a small website. So DPD does a lot of different payment gateways. I use
Okay.
Stripe and PayPal so that people can do credit
Okay.
card order if they want. But
Do-
that's like less than 10% of my orders, I think. Maybe it's as much as 15% come through
PayPal is?
Stripe.
Oh, okay.
The vast majority of them are through PayPal.
Really?
And DPD is great. There's two things that I think are a little wonky with DPD. The way its coupon structure works, it doesn't let me specify a certain group of products. If I wanted to do a group of products, I actually have to set it up as a separate product group in the website, which doesn't really work for me on Watch Me Code the way I have things set up. So what I end up doing is giving discounts of a minimum number of products instead of a certain group of products.
Do they
So
let you? Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Do they host the sales page for you, or like?
They can. You can use their site for everything, but I prefer not to. I want the better marketing copy and all that.
Right.
Super duper easy integration though. The other thing that was a little wonky is it takes a lot of work to set up your first store because they have a lot of things that you need to do to get your company information in there and upload your products and set up the integration with your payment gateways and write your emails for your confirmations of things. So it does take quite a bit of work to get it done, but it's worth it. It really is worth it.
I'm going to check it out.
This weekend, I have to get all this done this weekend while working on my book stuff.
It's not going to take you more than a couple of hours. The biggest thing that'll take time is getting the integration with PayPal and Stripe set up. But even those are pretty darn simple. But once you have all of that set up, though, adding products is really easy, and getting integration into your website is also super easy. There's a line of JavaScript that you add to your button click, basically, and so I have that abstracted away. It's a HAML include that I set, and it adds the button for me, and they provide the shopping cart, they provide the checkout process, they provide the whole thing with a super easy integration set.
Oh, I think you've sold me. I might convert because I can't accept PayPal now with Gumroad, but Gumroad only took seconds to set up.
Yeah.
I mean that's one thing you could always do, Josh, is like try to do the DPD, and if you need to get this done, you can always just throw up Gumroad real quick for now, and then switch over to DPD when you have time.
I mean, I'm still selling my book through LeanPub. Maybe I'll switch over to using DPD at some point, but it was easier for me to just keep it on LeanPub right now because that's where it's published.
But do you get email addresses on DPD?
Yes, I do. DPD has integration with MailChimp, so every time somebody buys something from me, they go to my list.
I would totally move if I were you, move my stuff over to DPD. For your sales.
I've been wanting to do that anyway. At least get it set up so I have the option.
Well, hold on a minute. Let me give you guys my referral URL.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Now there's a difference with yours. Well, I mean,
paste it in chat.
I mean, you'll still keep yours on LeanPub, of course, but it depends on where your traffic's coming from. Like for Josh, we know for sure that most of your sales, Josh, are coming from people hitting your Google searching and finding the LeanPub landing page.
Right.
So it's definitely going to make sense to keep it up there, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think I think it's probably I think most of my sales come from my mailing list, and most of those go through my 301 redirect on Sublime Productivity, which I can point anywhere I want.
Oh,
right.
Well then yeah.
Yeah, so I'll probably get I'll probably get some SEO when I finally get around to getting that site set up, maybe this weekend. I should get some nice, SEO benefit out of that, because I imagine that Sublime Productivity. I don't think you can build PageRank on a 301 redirect, but once if you can redirect a high PageRank URL to a site, but I don't think Google will give you any credit for it, no matter how many times it shows up.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah.
So that might help my search traffic if I do that.
So by the way, developpreneur.com is taken.
What? How's that possible?
It's a landing site.
This is not. This site is, or this podcast is obviously being broadcast live.
Obviously.
Derek just wasn't quick enough.
How did you spell it? I don't know.
Developpreneur. I mean, DEVELOPRENEUR. The .com is taken, but it's just it's an empty landing site.
DEVELOPERNUER?
I looked up the word entrepreneur and then I put develop in front of it.
This is riveting audio here.
It is.
Yeah. All right, we'll have to figure out something. We might have to, I don't know.
I have Entreprogrammers, so we can use that.
Okay, it will be entreprogrammer.com. It's the podcast for developreneurs, so.
Right.
We could always do developpreneur show or something like that.
There we go.
The fizzle route.
So that's the other thing that you just remind me of. The other order of business we have to take care of this week is getting this thing launched, right? So I think, I don't know if you saw the workflowy, I signed people up based on what you guys volunteered for, right? If you go into the workflowy.
Voluntold us.
Yeah. So, because Josh, you said you wanted to set up the website, right?
Yeah, I'll do that.
So we need to figure out the rest of these tasks and when we're going to do them.
So I'll handle the hosting of it, obviously.
What's that?
Oh, yeah. The Signal Leaf, the podcast hosting part.
Yeah.
I can set up. I'll add a podcast on Signal Leaf, and I'll do the uploads for the episodes, and I can do blog posts as well.
Well, aren't we going to have the Ruby person do all that for us?
Oh, that's right. We were going to get Mandy to do all that for us.
So what we need to do, okay, so what I have on the list of setup tasks is get the basic blog set up. So Josh is going to do that, set up a WordPress on DigitalOcean, right?
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have DigitalOcean already? Or should I give... Okay, I'll give you a referral code.
Gosh. I feel that this whole thing is just scamming Josh. Why don't you send me some Amazon affiliate links while you're at it?
Dang, we need short links for these referral codes so we can say them over the air too.
Seriously.
So
that TD link is ridiculously long.
Dang it. DigitalOcean gave me this crappy referral code. I can't say this over the air.
Yeah, mine was UP8II0334GWO0KG.
Do you guys?
All right, I'm bit.ly-ing this.
Okay, do you guys have?
Because I'm not going to lose out on this one.
Well, John, do you have PrettyLink installed on your blog?
I don't.
You should. It's really easy to make a URL redirect with that. You can just do. It's like a nice it could be simpleprogrammer.com/getdpd or whatever.
Oh, okay. I need to do that.
That's a good one. Yeah, yep, that's a good option.
I'd already done a short link for this. So the short link is bit.ly/simpleVPS.
Nice.
All right. So back to the tasks, right? So Josh is going to set the basic blog up. I put the next task for get the logo created. I'll go ahead and take that task and get some logo bids. We need the intro and outro recorded. I can pick that one up too since I'm going to be on Fiverr.
Yeah, I was going to say we should just do Fiverr for that. I use the same guy that you do, so.
Should we use him again for this, I guess, or maybe
I don't see why not.
Okay, all right.
I mean, if you want to get a different voice, just to have some variety, but do the extra to get music as well. You're gonna want to do two of his projects, one for the intro and one for the outro.
Yep. Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll try and do that music guy for the outro again and come up with some lyrics. I'll see. It's only like $5 to burn, so I'll burn some dollars there. The create Signal Leaf account, I assigned that one to you, Derick.
Yep, that's pretty obvious.
So
what I'm gonna do there is I will add entreprogrammer.com to my Google accounts so that we can get email addresses, and that way we can have a whatever at entreprogrammer.com account on Signal Leaf, and we can give that account until I get the multiple users per account set up. We can just give that account to Mandy to do all of the uploading and editing and whatnot.
Okay, that brings us to the next task, which is create workflow that will be used by the VA to produce the podcast. I already have kind of a workflow, but I don't know if, Derick, if you want to take the lead on, like if you already have the workflow in mind, you could always take the lead on this and then contact Mandy and say, hey, here's what we need done. How much would you charge us?
Yeah, why don't you send me your workflow? I don't have anything written out. She has a good workflow down already. I mean, she edits like 6 podcasts now. So she's more than familiar with the process of doing all this. But I'll talk with her. Send me your workflow, and I'll get things arranged with her to get this done.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, then we can get the price quote from her and see. I mean, I can't imagine it'll be. I mean, what are you thinking? Like $50 a week or something?
It'll probably be more than that. Honestly, it'll probably be closer to 150
a week.
Yeah.
That's a little steep. I don't know. Maybe we should Odesk it instead of.
Well, let me talk with her and see what it's going to be, because she charges like $50 an hour, and it takes a couple hours to do this.
Well, I can get I just got Get Up and Code up this morning myself.
Right.
And it took me under an hour, to do my.
Oh, really?
Yeah, including putting on Signal Leaf, creating the blog post, putting image stock photos in there, everything.
So apparently I suck at editing and getting things posted, because it takes me a couple hours to do that. I'll ask her and I'll find out what she thinks. Because what are we looking at? Like an hour and a half per episode here?
Yeah, there's really no. I mean, unless we call out that there's editing, there's really no editing. I think, right? Because we're just going to let this fly. We're going to, right?
That's a good point.
Right.
So. Yeah, so I think really all that we really want done is we give her the MP4, and that's where our handoff stops, right? And then she takes the MP4, she strips out the audio, and then has a separate video track, right? And then uploads the audio to signalleaf.com, and then creates a blog post. A new blog post with the episode title, before that, tags the MP3. It has to be tagged with the appropriate tags. Uploads it to Signal Leaf, takes creates a new blog post, puts in some show notes into the blog post. If even, I don't know if we even, I mean.
We definitely want show notes. She'll also do transcription for us.
Transcription would take a lot.
That would be very expensive.
Yeah, I've got someone that can do it for really cheap if we want.
I'd vote no for that, though.
Yeah,
show notes would be good. We at a minimum we need show notes, and she can probably get show notes out of that pretty quickly.
Okay, so we give her she can do the show notes then, and then she just posts the blog post up there and schedules it and gets a stock image or whatever for that, and then basically it's published. So the point would be that when we're finished recording this thing, we just give her an MP4, the M4V or whatever, and we're good to go.
Yeah, that's pretty much what she does.
Okay. And then I had hire VA to produce podcasts, so that would be Derick. That's what we just talked about. And then I have submit to directories, but we don't have to worry about that yet.
Yeah, let's get this first episode or 2 up there before we worry about that.
Yeah.
What's our target launch date?
March 6th.
Oh my gosh, no. I can't. Oh, let me rephrase that. I can't do anything with this for a little while. I got to get my book launched. That's basically occupying all of my time.
Well, why don't we do this on March 6th? I mean.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Well, that's not. We're not going to make $100 in a day unless we figure out some way to do that off of this.
That would be worth discussing.
Yeah, I mean, we could.
So it would
do
benefit.
a subscription.
It would benefit all of us.
We could do a subscription to the podcast.
Immediately?
Why not?
Well, we could try to rehash my failed strategy from the last time and do like some sort of sell a session with us or something.
Yeah. That'd be. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, to get the podcast actually launched, it's not going to take much work at all.
Right.
So, I mean, let's just push it back a few weeks and just get these things done as we get them done. And Josh, if you're too overwhelmed, if you don't seem like you're going to be able to set the site up, then either Derick or I can pick that up.
Okay. Yeah, I'd hate to do that.
I probably need to learn how to do that.
Yeah, my time, I basically have 10 to 15 hours a week is pretty much all the time I have to budget to anything. So,
Right.
Okay.
and that'll probably take, I would think that would take at least probably a couple hours. So,
Okay, and
a
that's
block
how
of a Saturday.
and that's how you create a podcast. Look at this. We just provided more value in this podcast because people listening to this podcast will now know the steps that
They
are
can
involved in
create their
creating
own
a podcast.
competing podcasts.
Yeah.
That's right. I need to get somebody to transcribe everything that we just said so I can put it into my unfinished podcasting book.
All right. I think, does anyone else have anything else, or are we?
I don't think so. You guys want to do commitments for the week?
I need to think about them actually, so I think I'm going
Okay.
to have to do that off air.
Sure, that's fine. I'm kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, I've got to plan out my month, I think, because tomorrow's March 1st, so I do my
That's
little
right.
printed. I got to print my calculators, my calendars, I mean.
You get your abacus out to help you count the hours and
Go set up the sundial.
good
I
stuff.
basically need to get a sales page up and then get like my pre-launch,
Yeah,
my
I
launch
gotta-
sequence.
I got to get a screencast recorded and done this week so that dang, I have a presentation I have to write for jQuery Toronto on March 15th and 16th. It's
insane.
all about JavaScript and robots, so it'll be fun. I just gotta get it done, man. So I have a screencast and a presentation, and that's probably going to be my entire. That's going to be everything I do for the next 2 weeks.
Okay. Yep, that sounds like fun. I got to get some more conferences, and I've been not getting into the conferences.
Yeah.
So, yep. There was one other thing I was thinking about real quick. I can't remember what it was now. It must not have been that important, but.
Oh, hey, I got one other question for you guys. I'm changing the way Signal Leaf is going to do its pricing structure. So it'll be, instead of being based on how much you upload per month, which I think is kind of weird, I want to set it up one of two ways. The first option would be to say you can release X number of episodes per month, which would be fairly simple to do. So at the lowest end, you would be able to release 4 episodes a month, one a week. In the middle tier, you could release probably 2 a month. And at the higher tier, I don't know what it would be, 10 or 20 or something like that, one a day. So one probably for the highest tier.
So your market for that would basically be John Lee Doomists.
Yeah, pretty much. So there's that, or the other option, which based on the conversation I had earlier this week, I think this other option is going to be, one of these two I guess would really work. But the other option would be to say, right now I have it set up so that you can upload 100 megs a month at the lowest tier and 250 for the middle tier. So I want to invert that and say you can upload as much as you want, but you can only schedule this many megabytes worth of episodes for a given month. So if you have a 100 megabyte plan, you could upload 50 episodes, and those 50 episodes might come out to 5 gigs worth of files. But if 10 of those files are 10 megs each, you could publish those 10 episodes in any given month, and that would hit your 100 megs a month limit.
I say no for one simple reason. That is hard to explain.
Yeah, it took you 2 minutes to explain it to us.
It's just
That's a very good point.
It might be a good pricing model, but it's just you're never going to be able to educate.
Yeah.
It's got to be simple. It's got to be dirt simple.
The number of episodes a month is dirt simple.
Yeah. Well, I wonder though if people are actually going to. I mean, you're going to have two categories, right?
Here's the thing. I have a lot of interactions with people that say, I want to upload my back catalog. Is that going to affect my monthly uploads this month? I want to upload my future catalog because I have 20 episodes in the bag already and I want to get them uploaded now. how is that going to affect my current upload limits?
Right.
So, and then on top of that, my conversation earlier this week was with a guy that runs a podcasting network, and he is getting away from Libsyn for a number of different reasons. But one of his complaints about Libsyn was he has to set up a new podcast and new payment for that podcast for each of his podcasts, and he has to increase the amount of available upload and whatnot for each of his individual podcasts. But when he looks at them in aggregate, he sees that podcast A has an upload limit of, let's say, 500 megs, and he uploads on average 350 megs a month. Podcast B, the same thing. Podcast C, the same thing. Podcast D, the same thing. So he's got 4 podcasts that are all leaving 150 megs a month unused.
Yeah.
He cannot do anything with that. What he really wants to be able to do is say, look, I'm paying for 2 gigs worth of space every month. I'm only using 1,500 and 1.5 gigs each month. I have enough space left over to add another podcast without increasing the payment or adding anything else onto my account. And that's the kind of guy that I want to facilitate with this, with the direction that I'm heading. What he very directly said was, I want a bucket that I can split up into as many podcasts as I want.
Yeah, but let me ask you one simple question. How many customers are you going to anticipate getting that have that need? Because I don't think it's a large number.
It's not a large number, but if I can attract all of them because I have a better plan for them, if I can be the place that podcast networks go to, I mean, podcast networks are becoming a hugely popular thing to do in podcasting right now. I've seen a number of reports talking about how that is going to be the way to podcast in the near future, is to join a podcast network.
But you'll have to charge them enough money to make it worth your while.
I can say, $5 a month or $20 a month or whatever it is for each podcast. But then along with that, you get bucket increases, and you can add as many episodes as you want into your bucket.
I don't know. I mean, I think it sounds all well, but I don't think you're at that stage yet, in my opinion. I would just focus on your primary, what's your 90% customer, and even the talks you're talking about.
But I have them covered. I mean, for the 90% customer, I'm a shadow. Nobody sees me. Nobody pays attention to me. I need something to differentiate my service because nobody is paying attention to me right now. And having a better pricing structure, having better features, having a better pricing structure is going to go a long way, because the vast majority of people that look at Signal Leaf right now, they see the pricing structure and they say, well, why should I go with this unknown guy that has the same pricing structure as Libsyn or Blueberry or whatever else? I'm going to go with the people that I know.
I mean, that's true, but you're still going to make a majority of your money from the 90% from the. I mean, you're not going to. That's what's going to sustain you, and it's like the gym membership model. You're going to have a lot of people that produce podcasts that never actually use the bandwidth or never get subscribers or just keep paying you a monthly fee. So I don't know. I mean, I would focus on that business model first and spend. I guess what I'm saying is you have a finite number of hours of time to devote to this. So I would devote that time towards getting more of that 90% customer market share than this. I mean, this is something.
But we're talking about advertising to a commoditized network at that point. It's a hugely difficult problem for me right now, because if I'm going after that 90% audience, then I have to be as big and powerful and capable as Libsyn. I have to find a niche. I have to find a smaller audience.
Well,
I have to find some place that's going to be attracted to the feature set and pricing model that I offer at the exclusion of someone else.
Possibly. I mean, the thing is, remember, Libsyn and Blueberry, they need to have big audiences because they have big companies.
Yeah.
You only need a fraction of the total market share in order to be able to sustain a single person.
I need about 30 paying customers to break even.
Yeah. So just go after 30 paying customers. To break even, but you need to make some money in addition.
Yeah.
But
right.
I mean, maybe
if I want this thing to be profitable.
Yeah, maybe you need 100 paying customers,
Yeah.
right? So
And
go
right now I have
after,
one.
huh?
I have a lot of potential paying customers. A lot
Yeah,
of people. There's like 15 people that are actively using it, but I have one paying customer.
Right.
yeah.
Everyone else is still in trial
So,
mode.
so one thing you could try as an experiment on this is design the pricing structure.
Hmm.
Design them at, like, you know, the 3 columns, the buttons, and can you explain what you're talking about in that amount of space and make it compelling?
Right.
That's true. Yeah,
I mean, you could always have sort of your front door, and then sort of the power, have a different route that you use to sell to power
Yeah.
users or like high
Yeah.
consumers. You could have multiple landing pages is not an uncommon thing. You could
Right.
send, you know, podcast network guys to a separate landing page that sells a separate pricing structure for them.
Right.
I see where you're going with it. I mean, it makes sense because you're looking for advertising basically, or just
I need something to
you need something.
differentiate me.
Well, yeah, but you're hoping to land some big customers, right, to get the word out there, really, because
Yeah.
you still want that 90%,
Right.
but you're hoping that you can get some leverage by getting some big guys in the door,
Right.
I see.
spread the word more effectively versus having to bleed Google AdWords for the next 3 years.
Or what I'm doing now, which is engaging people one-on-one.
Right, right. And I mean, it makes some sense from that. I don't have a good sense for how it works. For me, as a non-podcaster, the idea of paying by upload seems a little odd.
That's
I
the
would,
majority of the way it happens, though.
yeah, for me, I would think it would be more of like in terms of downloads. But
Right. See so there's a problem in that the majority of companies, every podcaster out there that does this hates companies that charge for bandwidth. There's a couple of popular podcast hosts out there that charge you for bandwidth, and everybody hates them. The people that use those companies hate them because it gets really expensive, and those companies tend to be shady to begin with.
Okay.
Everybody out there that is in the podcasting realm that talks about podcasting and is involved in the podcasting communities, even the people that just run their show and they just want to be a part of the community for whatever reason, everybody says don't pay for bandwidth.
Right.
So it's not really an option for me to pay for bandwidth.
Right.
I actually had that. That was my original pricing structure, was paying for bandwidth, and I got all kinds of hate for that.
Okay.
All kinds of problems for it. So I switched over to my current model, which is based on what I see other podcast companies doing, but I think this model is ridiculous as well. So I'm probably going to switch to something like a number of episodes per month that you can publish.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, I don't know, I guess the thing that could really differentiate you is not necessarily the pricing, is the service, the level of which you already are differentiating, but maybe
Right.
you're the podcast hosting that helps you set up your podcast and be successful as much as possible. Like you say, I can help coach you, I can help you like get your Fiverr gigs for intros and logos and like get you.
And that's already what I do, but when I spend 3 or 4 hours helping one person set up a podcast and I make $5 a month off of that one person.
Yeah.
It might be an automatable thing to some degree. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do with my ebook. I mean, I'm happy doing that right now, and I will continue doing that. I'm not going to stop doing that, but it's not scalable. I can't have that be my only source of customers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or we should probably wrap this up, I guess.
Yeah, we probably should. We're at like well over an hour and a half.
This is a slam banger of a first episode, right?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty typical for us though.
All right, so I guess we should end cap this by saying that by the time this is published, if you go to entreprogrammer.com, which is like Entre, which is ENTRE, and then programmer.com, then you will find us online if Josh does his homework. So.
We need to buy every possible misspelling of that tve
Yes, we do.
Just entreprogrammer.com. All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code. Listen to John, Josh, and Derick as we figure it out. We are the